Hi guys, welcome back to Star Victoria channel. So today I'm going to show you how to cut and sew a long butterfly gown. So I have here this lace fabric is 4 yards. So I'm going to show you how to fold. I've already folded into two this way you can see. I've already folded into two. So what I'm going to do next is to fold again, making it four. Okay. So this is how I'm going to fold. Hope you can see what I'm doing. See? Okay, so when I'm done folding, this top part will be on fold and here will be on fold as well. So I have four pieces here. I folded into four. So the next thing I'm going to do is to start marking out my measurements. So the measurement needed for this gown is shoulder measurement, sleeve length, bust, waist, hip, and the length of the gown. Okay, so for the shoulder measurements, the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So this is my 8 inches here. So the sleeve length is the sleeve length is 17 inches. Okay, so this is 17 here. So altogether I have 25 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark 25 inches all the way down to the hip because the butterfly effect is going to stop at the hip. It's going to start from the shoulder down to the hip. That is how my client wants hers. It's not the type that will go down to the length of the gown. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to mark the bust height. So for the bust is 9 inches. The waistline is 18, sorry, 17 and a half. Then the hip measurement, her hip depth is 9 inches. And that is all I need. So where I have the deep, hip depth, sorry, the bust depth, I'm going to mark my round bust. The round bust, her round bust is 42 inches divided by 2, sorry, divided by 4 will give me 10.5 plus 1 inch is will give me 11.5. So this is 11.5 here. So where I have the waist, the half length, I'm going to mark the round waist. The round waist is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 38 divided by 4 will give me 15, will give me 9.5 plus 1 inch is will give me 10.5. So this is 10.5 here. I hope you can see the markings. Okay, so for the hip, this is my hip depth. The round hip is 44. Divide by 4 will give me 11 inches plus 1 inch is will give me 12. So this is 12 here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to connect this point. I'm this is it. So I'm going to start. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the round hemline. And for the round hemline, what I want to use is 18 inches. So I'm going to mark 18 inches here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. At the down part, I'm marking 18 inches. So what I'm going to do now is to connect the hip down to the length of the gown. By the way, the length of the gown I'm working with is 65 inches. My client wants her gown very long. Okay. So remember I have 25 as my shoulder length. As for the shoulder, I have both the shoulder and the length of the sleeve is 25 inches. So I'm going to mark the same 25 inches at the bust line. So this is 25 inches. Remember we are cutting butterfly gown. So I'll mark the same 25 at the waist and I'll mark the same 25 at the hip. Remember I said the butterfly is going to stop at the hip. Okay, so this is it. Next thing is to connect the points this way. I hope you guys are still following. So, so this is the line. So what I'm going to do now is to connect. I'm trying to get my hip. I'm marking out my hip heights, okay? So that's what I'm doing. What I'm going to do now is to connect the points this way. So this is it. Okay, if you don't want your butterfly effect to stop at your hip, you can extend it to your knee or even down to the length of the gown. It all depends on what you want. Then for the hemline, if you want to, if you are confused, you don't know what measurement to use, you can just add 5 inches to your hip and use it as a round hemline. Okay, so but I'm working with 18 inches. 18 inches is perfect for her. Okay, so if your measurement, depending on your hip measurement now, you just divide by 4 and add 5 inches to it and use it as your round hem measurement. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is to mark out the neckline. Now the neckline I'll be working with for the back is 4.5 inches by 1 inch depth. So this is the 4.5 here, and okay, I'll be using 1.5 for 4.5 inch by 1.5 inch depth. Okay, so that's what I'll be using for the back. So I'm going to cut the back before I cut the front. Remember, the fabric is on fold. Okay, so this is the neckline for the back. I hope you can see. So this is neckline for the back, and for the front, the neckline for the front is going to be V-neck. So for the front, I'll be working with 9 inches. So this is the 9 inches here. So I'll connect this way. See what I'm doing? So I'll cut the front first. I hope you can see the markings. I'll cut the front first, then open up and cut the, sorry, I'll cut the back first, then I'll open up and cut the front. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the gown because we are almost done. We are almost through. So I'll start cutting. I'll show you how to cut this gown. Now, another thing you need to note is, okay, when I'm done cutting, I'll now show you how to sew it. Because this part, we're going to sew this part from the hip down. We're going to sew it in, and this part, we're going to sew it in. Then when we are done sewing, we also hem this sleeve. And when we are done sewing, turn to the right side. That's when we'll now sew on top like this. Just follow this line. These markings are created. Okay. So I'll cut the neckline now. So I'll start with the back. So I'll cut the back this way. I'm cutting both the fronts together. You see. So I will now raise the front up this way. This is my front, and I will only cut the front now, not touching the back. See, the back is here, and this is my front. So I'll cut this way, and I'll stop. You see? So this is the front. See the front, and this is the back. So next thing I'm going to do now is to cut the body. So please, I want you to watch carefully and see what I'm going to do. So I'll start from the hem, go over to the hip, so this is the hip now. I'll go this way. You see? This is out. Hope you are seeing what I'm doing. Then I'll continue this way. almost done. So now I want to do something. I'll be transferring this line, this marking I have here, to the other side. So by the time I open up, I'll be able to see where to sew. Okay. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to fold the neckline using a bias, and also the back neckline I'm going to fold using a bias. Okay. So after doing that, I will now fold my sleeve. You see, I'll fold the sleeve. Okay. Hem the down parts, and when I'm done that, then I will turn. Remember, when I'm doing that, it has to be at the back of this fabric. It has to be at the back of this fabric. Okay. And I will sew from here 1 inch from here. That is the sleeve now. At the hip part, I will sew from here and come this way down to the length of the gown, and I will turn to the right side. When I turn to the right side, I will still come back and show you how to sew on the fabric, that is at the right side now, how to form this butterfly effect. Okay, so I'll go over to my machine and hem the neckline, hem the sleeve, the down part, then sew from here down to the length of the gown, and I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, I'm done sewing. I've also hemmed the neckline, as you can see. I've finished the side, hemmed the sleeve, and the down parts. So I've also transferred these lines to the other side. I don't know whether you can see it. So this is it. So I want to show you how to sew this. So what you're going to do now is to open up this way. So from this line, from here, that is where you have your bust measurement. You're going to sew, follow the line, and stop here. You see this part, that's where you're going to stop. You're going to do the same at the other side. Start from this place where you have your bust measurements, go down and stop here. So I'll go over to my machine and do that, and I'll come back and show you the finished look. Okay, I'm done sewing. As you can see, I've closed up the parts and here as well. Okay, so there's an opening where her hand will be coming out from. This is it. So let me show you where I close from inside. You see, here is closed. Hope you can see it. Here is closed, and this is where her hand will be coming out from. So this is the neckline and the length of the gown. You see. So by the time she wears it, this side will drape, okay, forming the butterfly effect. So that's that. If you like what you're seeing, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share this video. If you are yet to subscribe, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.